Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Watch Me Wrench with your host, Mr. Wrench. So what am I doing on the car today? Well, if you recall, I went to the racetrack not too long ago and I had a tremendous amount of wheel hop and it was really affecting my times and my launches. So I did some research and I came across AMT Motorsport Diff Mounts. These are them right here. It's a two-piece design. We do have some type of material here. I don't know what it is. I can't say if it's rubber. It feels harder than rubber. Maybe some type of nylon or something. Not sure. So this should dampen some of the vibration. It'll probably be stiffer, but it should dampen some of the vibration and help reduce any noise as well. So now I just have to figure out how to install these. Let's go under the car and check it out. Okay, so here we are under the car, and that is the diff mount. Some people refer to them as a tranny mount, but technically that looks like it does mount to the differential. So there it is. It's tucked in back there. This one is a little harder. This is the driver's side here. This one is going to be harder to get to. And there's no instructions, and I'm not really sure how to do this. So I have to figure it out. I was looking last night, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sliding center jack, that thing over there, put it underneath the lift points on the frame here towards the back of the car, lift the car up, then undo these bolts that hold the mounts in. You got two on the top there, two on the top there. And then loosen the 4 bolts for the cradle. So what I'm going to do is I'll have the car up in the air. The rear tire should be off the lift. Then I'll put a pole jack here. And I will lift up slightly on the transmission diff here, and I'll lower the cradle as much as I can. I'm going to have to move some wires around. I'm going to try to do this in as few steps as possible. I don't want to remove the exhaust, and this is leaking here, as you can see. I'll have to slide this back and clean this up. I don't like to see that crap. So I guess I'm going to have to move this East Coast Supercharger trans diff brace. I have to remove that bracket and these arms here. Alright, so let me do that. Let me get set up and I'll be back. Okay, so I immediately ran into a snag. Unfucking-believable, this car. So I got my sliding center jack, lifting the car up, no issues with the jack. Then I remembered that I have the East Coast Supercharger torque tube brace. So if I try to put a pole jack here and lift up on this, that brace is not going to allow the torque tube and the diff and the tranny to go up, because that strap. So I got to undo the strap, the 2 nuts, there and there. But I can't get any tool in there to get to those nuts, so I got to lower the jack, probably take out the damn exhaust. Unbelievable. Oh, this car fights me left and right. Alright, let me get to it and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I got the 2 nuts out of the way. So now if I lift the transmission, the torque tube and tranny and diff should be able to go up. I removed the 2 bars that go across here. I can't get this bracket out. Now it's like locked in there. I undid the bolts, but I guess when I loosen these and lift up on this, I just need a little bit more, like a 1/4 of an inch. I'll be able to get that out. So I'm going to undo, actually I'm going to wind up having to take the damn exhaust out, this section here, because this pipe is in the way up here. I'm not going to take the mufflers out, just swing this over so maybe I can get my hand back there at least to undo the two nuts at the top. So I'm going to undo these nuts, undo this, take out this rear section of the exhaust, and then lift up and see how that goes. And I'll be back. Alright guys, I'll be back. Alright guys, so I had to take all the exhaust out from the header back. I got the two nuts off here at the bottom of the mount. So now I could get a 15mm socket up here. I'm not sure how I'm going to get it out. There's not really much room. Oh my gosh. Yeah, hold on. So basically you got to get, and you got to use a long socket. Maybe with an air ratchet. I don't think there'll be enough room to turn it. So that's where we are. I'll be back. After I could probably see if I could lift up on this a little bit now. I will have to undo, hold on, where are we? Undo that over there. And undo that one right up there. That's the emergency brake cable. See how it goes through the rear subframe. I put a piece of hose there because it was getting, it was years ago. Just with vibration, the hose was getting cut by the rear subframe. And I did the same on this side. See it back there. Alright, let me get to it and I'll be back. Let me show you guys how I'm getting these nuts out on top. Basically with a wrench like this. Like that. Once I get the nut closer to the top of the stud, then I switch out to a shorter 15mm socket. Makes life a little easier. Alright, about another 20 minutes of this and I'll have this one undone. I'll be back. Alright, so I got all 4 nuts out. The one towards the rear was the most difficult. Welcome back guys. So I've got the new mounts in place and I've got to take them out. There's no instructions and there's no tips, so you learn as you go along, I guess. It's unfortunate because it's a pain in the neck to get this in here, especially to get that last bolt back here and feed it up and through. The issue is I can't get the nut on the back side. There's no way to get it back there. And this one was worse. So let me show you. Here are the old mounts. So I cut the studs here at the bottom as low as I could, and then I took my hacksaw, my sawzall, and cut the studs at the top. So let me put the pole jack here, lift this up a bit, and then I could slide these out. At least these you can take in and out easy. You just pull out the bolts under the nuts, and with a little bit of a gap, you can pull them out. Alright, so I'll be back. Alright, so there's the stock versus the new one. I got the new nut and bolt through the new one, and I torqued it to 45 foot-pounds. I don't know, but I assume this has to be the same distance on this side and this side. When you're tightening this, be conscientious on how this top part is positioned. So I took my time and made sure they were equal distance on both sides. All right, let's try to get this in place. Oh, okay. Now I'll feed the bolts through, and let's see. Oh, wait a minute, shit. See, another snag. You can't get the bolts through if it's together. All right, another delay. I'll be back. Okay, there it is. But this is not worth it. It's not worth the headache. Oh, let's see if I can get it in. All right, I'm gonna need 2 hands. I'll be back. All right, guys, so I've got them in place, and it was not easy. I'm going to use the original nuts for the bottom here, because the ones they give you are very small. You can see the outline of how much further out the original ones stick. So I'm going to use the original ones. Alright, let me try to button these up and I'll be back. Alright, welcome back, guys. So it's several days later since my last clip, and I took the car for a ride. Definitely a significant increase in like vibrations. It's a little more rough and a little more harsh of a ride. Not thrilled about that, but I did do 2 launches in the street, and I didn't have wheel hop. Normally if I do a launch in the street, I do get some wheel hop. I didn't get any this time. But the true test will be on the drag strip. So we'll see. Right now I also went out and had to get new clamps. This one won't tighten anymore. I can't tighten it or loosen it. And then the 2 over there having the same problem. So I got 4 new clamps. I'm just going to change them. Other companies call this the tranny mount. So I was trying to find a video on YouTube on how to replace the diff mount. I wasn't getting anything, and then I just found one, and it referenced the tranny mount, and then I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, it's the same thing. But technically, that mount does go to the diff. So maybe it should be called a diff mount. You know, there is one thing I noticed. I don't know if it's a problem, but the trans and the diff all sits up about about half an inch up higher. All right, let me show you what's happening. So from here to down here, so from basically the 2 mounting surfaces, it's about 2 7/8 to 2 15/16 inches. So just a hair under 3 inches wide. That is also just a hair under 3 inches wide. However, when you actually have the weight of the diff and the tranny on here, this is compressed about half an inch. So I'm concerned. I don't know if it's going to affect the car, the performance. I also know everything is sitting up higher, including the torque tube, because I had to reshim the torque tube brace. I had to raise it up because everything is elevated about half an inch. And in the past, I used to have to put a pole jack here, loosening up the nuts here and here, to push up on here with the pole jack just to get this bracket out for the trans diff brace. For this brace right here. But now, as you can see, check it out. I can lower it, I can undo it, take it off the 2 studs, come down over this hump here, and pull it out. So it is sitting up higher. And no, these are in, the car only has 10,000 miles, as you can see. The rubber is perfect. Does not have any cracks. So besides me cutting the studs, they are in perfect shape. So it's not like they're defective and cracked and the rubber was compressing. So, plus I used to never be able to get this off, and I had to reshim the torque tube brace up higher. So, I don't know what that's going to do. I am a little concerned about it. I'm not thrilled, but we'll see what happens. Maybe worst case scenario, I could take it to a machine shop and they could remove a little bit of material. Let's see how it performs at the track. Alright guys, that's it. So remember, if I could do this, you could do this. So pick up a wrench, get to wrenching. You just might save yourself $1 or $2. And please continue to watch me wrench.